Hello! Welcome to Iconicon. This is the shopping spree. What was our official title? Shopping spree.
80s toy shopping spree.
Yes. I am your host, Matt Swafford from Reklaimer's Vintage Toys on Instagram.
And I am your co-host, Melinda from Retro Blasting.
And we are your tour guides on this wondrous journey back to the 80s, back to the land of catalogs and wish lists and shopping sprees.
And we came dressed for the part.
We did. And we didn't plan this either. We kind of match.
I mean, well done, Matt. Very nice.
We are joined today by our illustrious panel of guests.
That's right. I'm going to start adding them into the room. So first up, we have Bobby Vala from Valaverse, a toy expert in his own right. Bobby, tell us a little bit about your channel and where you're from.
My channel is Valaverse everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I've got a little rinky-dink toy company where I make 6-inch military action figures called Action Force.
Rinky-dink. Come on, Bobby. You're being too modest.
And as part of, you're also part of Infinity Equation Podcast, which is a great show on YouTube that you guys do every Friday night. And it's super fun. The atmosphere there is super chill, and you just hang out, learn about all the newest action figure news and releases. And your co-hosts on that are Dante and Ryan Laserpants. So welcome to the show, guys. Dante, you want to tell us a little bit about the Infinity Equation beyond what I said?
Bobby already said it's like a rinky-dink podcast that comes on every Friday night. That's about it.
It's great. It's so great.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I have finally have the right set of co-hosts to keep it going and have a good time with. The one of them's missing in action, Alex. Mr. Sexy Time. This is for you, sir. For you.
We also have Ed from Ed's Retro Geek Out. Welcome, Ed.
Hey.
Tell us a little bit about your show.
I have a YouTube channel, like most people here. I talk about toys, or I try to talk about toys.
Cool.
All right.
And then we have Sal from 2 Cents Toys. Sal, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Melinda.
Hi.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Sal, how's it going?
Oh, she goes.
Are you ready to throw down?
I'm ready to make a full butt out of myself. Here we go. Both cheeks.
All right. Well, I'm going to hand it over to Matt, but really quickly, I just want to explain the rules of the show just so you can all sort of set your expectations. So first, Matt is going to walk you through the amazing fad that was the thing in the 80s and even into the 90s, which was those Toys R Us shopping sprees that every kid wanted to win, but we all felt like no one ever really won. And sort of what we would have chosen had we been the winner of a contest like that. And then we will be moving into sort of continuing that theme, which is talking about the prices of toys back in the 80s. And I have pulled out some selected toys that none of our panelists know about, and we will be having them guess the closest price without going over for points. And the winner with the most points at the end of the show will go on to our final trivia showdown tomorrow. So to win our cool trophy, which is floating around here somewhere. So, somewhere back there.
Where?
Oh, no, it's here.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Anyway, so Matt, take it away.
So I think we all remember especially being advertised in like magazines and comic books and things like that, sometimes on cereal boxes. Not necessarily just Toys R Us, but Toys R Us was one of the biggest ones that offered the shopping spree. But they would, win a shopping spree, enter this sweepstakes or whatever. And it was always kind of a magical thing. I remember always talking about it with my friends when I was a kid, like, oh my God, can you imagine if we won that? It was almost like the lottery for children. And I remember just making lists of like, making strategies of like what, where I would start and what aisle I'm going down and everything else. And when we were thinking of topics for Iconicon, I just kind of threw that one out there, and I was like, that would be so cool to be able to kind of virtually do that for all of us now, because I don't know anybody that ever won that. Any of you guys out there recall anyone ever winning one of these? Nobody?
Nope.
See, that proves my theory. Nobody knows anybody. But, obviously there were some. And I know there's on YouTube, there's some footage, I think, from the 90s. Not everybody had access to camcorders and video cameras. So the 80s ones are harder to find. But I remember seeing on the news once, one kid won, and they were asking him, he was like, I'm really into computers and astronomy. So I'm going to get a lot of telescopes and then they kind of showed him with the carts and everything lined up. So, I mean, obviously people want them, but it was just such a mythical thing. Dante, what do you think about this? We'll start with you.
See, for me, it was always, like you said, mythical, because I knew I wasn't going to win. No matter how many times I entered, that's just the way my life was going as a kid as well. But, like, I would have just, they would have, action figures, just get out of my way, sir. I'm just going to get my superpowers, my action figures, and I'm good. But that was it for me. Like, I had no interest in other stuff. I was like, all right, if it may look cool, I'm like, whatever. But I just would have been an action figure line. They'd be like, is he going to come out? I don't know. That's just
Well, it was always such a stressful thing because they would give you a time limit. It was a hard time limit of, I think, what was it, like 2 minutes?
I think it was
that's what I saw.
Maybe 5 minutes, but
yeah.
Yeah, I would see the ads on TV and I would just be like, so do you get can your parents help you push carts and or do you just have one cart and you just have to fit everything you as a 8 or 10-year-old can literally physically grab and push in a cart? And what if you can't reach the cool stuff that's on the top shelf and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, do they have people on ladders on standby, if you want the stuff that's up high? I obsessed over that. I was like, well, then I've got to run all the way back to the store. And what if I can't get the cart unjammed from the other carts?
Yeah.
The minutia of it was driving me nuts as a kid. I'm like, that's going to eat up all my time. And
See, that's when you have to have that strategy. You just bang the cart into the wall, with everything's hanging. This stuff starts falling over. Because you had to have a strategy. Like, all right, so how am I going to do this? How am I going to fill these carts up real quick? You just got to focus on your one thing that you want mostly, and just fill up your cart and stay in that aisle, just push it back and forth.
So Dante, what part of the store would you have been running toward to just?
Action figures. I would have, like I said, superpowers. I would have GI Joes. I had Thundercats. Everybody been I went selling stuff outside my house by the time.
Would you have gone for big play sets, or would you have gone for more lots of figures?
Everything. If it was all in one aisle, and I seen on top shelf, I would have had some figure. I would have figured out some way to get it off that top shelf. It was just like I said, just bang the cart against the aisle. So it fell over. They're like, "Sorry, you can't do that.
You're breaking our store." Remember how the action figures were on long pegs, and you had to kind of dig through them? Would you have done the swoop and scoop? Oh yeah, and just pull them all off. And if you get 8 barbecues, you get 8 barbecues. But there might be a Storm Shadow and a Snake Eyes in there too. Yep. Or would you have done one at a time?
Nope. Just
swoop and go.
Yeah. You can always trade those later.
Right.
I mean, that's cash.
That's a good point.
I mean, anything that you get that you don't want, I mean, certainly.
I wonder if they gave you a receipt. If they rang it up and then they just credited it. So it's oh, okay, you can totally come back and get the ones you want at your leisure.
For sure. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I mean, would anybody have gone for any of the other stuff at a Toys R Us that's not just action figures or play sets? Would you have gone for a bike or a,
No way. No exercise equipment for me. I'm going straight for the action figures every time. I would have been very interested in things like the Nintendo or other video games, but I was also very stupid as a kid. I mean, not much has changed, but I didn't realize until much later, in preparation for this, watching old videos of the kids doing it, they would rip tags off for bicycles and things. My stupid butt would have been standing there can I get someone to open this cabinet for the games?
That's
you
right.
You smash the cabinet open and you take what you want.
That's
and
right.
Then they never have another shopping spree for any other kid.
Yep.
I thought the cabinet was open for the game, so I thought
was
they
it?
did. I thought they did.
I think they did. I know they did kind of a pre-game, because I remember in that it's weird how you see one newscast when you're a kid and it sticks in your mind 35 years later. But they showed footage of them walking around with this kid, and he had a notepad and was like writing down item numbers and like Sal said, like I think some of the bigger items that you have to spend a lot of time getting loose or whatever, they would write down like item numbers or give them tags or something like that. So there was a lot of recon that they did before they actually hit the timer. Yeah, that's an interesting tidbit for that too. Is I didn't even think about the ripping the tag off, but that makes more sense than like unlocking a bike. Can you get one of the guys to help us put this in the car?
Yeah, that kid in that picture had the right idea. I probably would have gone straight for those GI Joes because I didn't have a ton of GI Joes as a kid, but I always loved them.
Yeah,
so I would have gone straight to that aisle and just filled the cart immediately.
Well, I mean, if you were smart as a kid back then, you would have done exactly what Sal said: is focus on electronics, like the different gaming systems, and then Transformers. Just every Transformer, just because of the price alone, and you could just resell them and then buy whatever you want. But I mean, kids don't think that way.
Yeah, that's adult thinking.
That's adult thinking. But I just have a few fun. So first of all, these contests were advertised a lot in the 80s in comic books. So you can see on the top of all three of these comic books, there's the Win a Toys R Us shopping spree. And so this was a thing that was just so part of the 80s. But I mean, again, you see it, you'd sort of start daydreaming about it. It's sort of like a kid's version of the lottery, but what are the odds that you're really going to win? It's just sort of like, well, what would I have picked? I don't know, but I love to think about it. And then, of course, just some lovely images of toy aisles from that time and all the cool stuff that now would be worth a fortune, but back then was, Yeah.
And that's another consideration too, is that, when you're just looking at these pictures, they would have, they wouldn't have a varied selection of a lot of things like that. The one kid's got the 12-inch C-3PO or whatever that is, or that may be Luke. I can't tell in the picture,
C-3PO, I think.
But I mean, there's a huge box worth of just that figure. So the swooping it into the cart, it's a riskier strategy because then you're going to end up with a bunch of the same things. So, they would have a pallet of Millennium Falcons and they would have, just a ton of the same exact toy stacked up. Because I'm sure you guys remember, like in the 80s, toy store shelves went to the heavens, and they put everything out on the floor. They didn't want to keep anything in the back, apparently.
Sorry, I just read a comment that said, "Man, imagine grabbing 12-inch C-3POs."
I'm sure there's one kid that was like, "Oh my God, finally!
My dream has come true."
If my man wearing a mink coat though, like his coat looks fresh to death. He got
that kid looks like he's got some stuff in his pocket already. Let's be honest. 5-finger discount.
Well, the one kid's got like a helmet on, or
right. At least he's looking in the right direction. He's looking at Transformers. He's like, I don't know what's behind, but these Transformers sure look good.
That kid
Go ahead, Ryan.
That kid in the mink coat, if he is participating in a shopping spree, he's doing it all wrong. He's got one hand in his pocket. He's delicately taking a figure off the shelf. It's like, no, you're running, you're scooping, you're going to the next section. I mean, come on. I mean, but he's wearing a mink coat, so he probably
That's true.
He's got a little bit of money, And
I don't think he is. I think he's just...
Yeah, they're being very fashion forward with a mink coat and the other kid wearing a fez.
See, this wasn't even taking a picture from the shopping spree. This is his parents that bought him a day at Toys R Us. It's like, son, go ahead. It's Christmas. Go ahead, have fun.
This looks like Richie Rich, to be honest. Like,
exactly.
Well, the one kid's got a cereal bowl on his head, so it's like...
These kids are like what we would have been like.
Yeah,
like they're just,
Yeah, that girl's got some determination on her face.
That girl is me.
Yes.
I would have been getting that Barbie Paradise Estate. I mean, I'm sorry, that My Little Pony Paradise Estate, and I would have been getting play sets, because let me tell you, that's the thing my parents would never buy me, and they were too expensive. That Berry Happy Home play set is one of the most. I think it's more expensive than the Flag.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most expensive play set of the '80s. So, and it was huge. It would have taken up half my bedroom, but I would have been like, yeah,
I can almost get it.
It is. It's insane.
I had one playset as a kid, so I definitely would have focused on those too.
Yeah.
I'd have grabbed as many as I could.
Yeah, or vehicles.
I would think volume. See, I would
Really?
I would grab the figures and just right because you only get one cart. Like
no.
I was a kid, I analyzed this as a science.
Oh no, they had it where they had carts lined up. So
did
once
they?
you filled one, you dropped it off, and then you
okay.
grabbed another one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think you got a couple carts. Yeah, and you had, however, it was 5 or 10 minutes. I don't remember how much it is.
I think. I mean, as far as remembering that commercial or the special on the news that I saw, like they had carts lined up like at the starting line, and you would bring one back and then grab another one because that kid was getting like telescopes and computer games and all kinds of stuff, and they showed him doing the run, and he was just dropping off carts.
But even still, I think Bobby's strategy is solid because you honestly would have gotten more financially more bang for your buck by getting a whole bunch of action figures or something versus like this big bulky thing that's got this huge box that's taking up all your real estate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got a cart, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to get the Terradrome. Well, there goes your cart. So then you got to push it back, and so it's eating up a lot of time. But yeah, I totally would have done the same thing. I would have been the scooper and just volume, just fill them up to the brim, get another one. You also got to think about the velocity and your drag to get all scientific about it. If you've got stuff piled up and you can't go as fast with the cart getting it back,
You know
Scuba
what?
Pete.
Sorry.
Scuba Pete says that little girl's parents are saying, "Slow down, honey." She's like, "Die."
Get out of my way, old person.
You see, Matt, we figured as kids, we did figure that out. Remember, we did figure it out because every time we had to go food shop with our parents, and they're like, "Hey, don't be hanging on the cart like that." And then you just go like, because you put your 2 feet on there, and you start pushing like, "Wee." They're like, "Hey, stop it! Car come out here and hit you. That's it. I ain't look. I'm to the left to take you. That's it. I ain't gonna visit you."
You also got really good at, like, if you're like me, sneaking stuff into the shopping cart at a grocery store, and then your parents discover it till they're at the checkout, and then they don't want to make a scene, so they just buy you the Boo Berry.
Oh, can I live with your parents? Because my mom was like, "What is this? Boy, if I'm gonna put this back."
Yeah, my mom would have hit me over the head with Boo Berry.
It was the 80s, after all. I got some super chats here. Vinkman says, if you looked at Marvel Comics in the early 80s, you'd constantly see a banner on top of all the covers advertising Toys R Us shopping sprees. Yep. That is definitely true. We've got Lio Convoy who says, nah, see, you got to game the system. Grab the full registers.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, let's be honest. That's really where the money is. Your Muslim uncle says, if I could step into that picture, I'd show you a shopping spree. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
So I mean, I know that we want to sort of keep things moving, and at least for me, Christmas time, at least here in the States, and I think overseas, Ed, it was Argos catalogs, but here it was different department store catalogs like Sears and JCPenney and Montgomery Ward, and we would get those in the mail, or moms would go pick them up at like a store, and then you would spend like a month and a half, like starting in September, going through and carefully strategizing, just like we talked about, which things you could convince your parents to buy for you, and which things, like, you go, okay, well, that's a long shot. I mean, you can put the Terradrome on there, but like, what are the odds that your parents are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to take up your entire room with a Terradrome? So you're like, I get some action figures, maybe I get some, a vehicle, maybe I put that on there because that's a fun, Christmas morning kind of a thing. But it's all about strategy, at least for me. What do you guys think?
I had terrible ADD as a kid, so even like if I would have done the shopping spree, I would have probably went with what I was just thinking about at the time. It would have been Nintendo or some sort of action figure. But starting the shopping spree, I would have probably seen something and just went to it. Like, oh, maybe I want this, and then completely forget what I was going for. Then again, I also had terrible ADHD, so I was hyperactive as well. Yeah. So it could have been a massacre. If you would have allowed me to do that, I would have been all over.
Yeah. What about you guys? Sal?
Well, the two things. I wonder how many kids probably did that and then still had the audacity to ask their parents for something. But I know, like, in my heart of hearts, I would have to go down, like, the Barbie aisle or something to get something for my little sister.
Oh, that is so nice. You're the only person I have ever heard say that.
Well, it's not being nice. It's out of self-preservation.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I know what's waiting for me if I don't. But yeah, very similar to Ed. I would probably try to have a plan, but again, I was really stupid. And so I'd probably end up with a bunch of crap I didn't want because it looks cool, which is pretty much how I make my shopping decisions now. But I would try my hardest, but I'd end up with a bunch of stuff, and then I don't really want this. Can I get that instead? With a sharpening cot full of stuff. Also, I would probably start with all the little stuff and try to put the big stuff on top of everything else because I'm dumb. But I'd be pushing that cart with like night ravens or whatever falling out of the sides of it and probably slipping all over everything.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of spatial consideration with those shopping carts. Because some of those things, you know, the Night Raven box, if you've never seen one, they're, you know, it's like a TV. They're huge.
For sure. Well, I don't know how many of you know this, but I collect 80s Christmas catalogs. It's one of my things that I just love looking at them, not just the toys, but like literally every part of it. They're really entertaining to me. And so I actually got this one just for this panel. It was a great excuse to buy it. It's a very rare, very expensive one for some reason, because I think the earlier they are, the more they're just hard to find. So this is a 1982 Sears Christmas catalog. It's really great.
So much wood grain.
Really great. It's so much wood grain, you guys. So much wood grain. So real quick, I just got to show you this image that I found while flipping through here to look for some prices, okay? Is that Kevin Arnold as our Time Life operator?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Fred Savage, yeah.
That's awesome.
A lot of kid actors and stuff like that did modeling for these catalogs before they sort of hit the big time. And so that's just one example of that. I think I've seen others in some of these catalogs as well.
Now, do you collect the Toy Fair catalogs as well, or is it just like the department store catalogs?
It's just the department store catalogs, although I wouldn't be opposed to sort of expanding into the Toy Fair catalogs. Those are really fun too. I've only seen one of them ever, but I love them as source books for all the stuff we do here. They're great for sort of knowing exactly when something hit the market because, I mean, I did a whole video about these catalogs, but just the sort of all the work that went into making them is fascinating to me. So they're little time capsules of all our childhoods and the 80s, just not just toys, but everything. It's so cool.
And they didn't even have Photoshop back then.
I know. I know.
Well, just the sheer amount of models that they used in these things. I mean, they were putting a lot of money into these catalogs.
Well, and Bobby, you'll probably appreciate this. I mean, in terms of release dates of toys, like a lot of times you'll have just really early, very first run prototype type versions of these toys that get photographed in the catalogs because they're getting the final runs of things actually fully produced, and the packaging and the box art and all of that stuff that has to happen, as you know very well, is still going on. Famously, Star Wars didn't get their stuff ready for that first Christmas, so they did the mail away figures set. But I mean, these things had to be turned in by August. So I mean, if a toy line was really set to actually be released in October for the Christmas season, getting them in the catalogs was very challenging. So it's a real tight deadline.
Definitely.
Oh, careful.
Can't hear.
Yeah, that was it was a huge consideration. That was their go time for a lot of toy lines.
It's go time.
It's go time.
All right, guys. So we are up to our very first question for our contest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up an image on the screen, and I am going to tell you what the toy is, the year that it came out, and I'm going to ask you what that you thought the cost would be in a given year. And I'm going to start this first round with Bobby and work my way around across the top and then on the bottom. And everybody just give me your price, knowing that if you go over, you will not win. So given that, our very first toy is Castle Grayskull, released in 1982. What do you think the price was in 1982? Bobby, you're up.
$24.97.
$24.97. Okay, I'm going to write these down. Okay. Dante, what would you guess?
$40.99.
$40.99?
Yes.
Okay. Ed?
$27.99.
$27.99. Ryan?
$24.98.
I was waiting for this.
And Sal?
I'm gonna say $29.50.
Okay, now that we have the bids, I'd like for you guys to just talk about this toy for just a few minutes, and then before I do my big reveal, with Castle Grayskull, how many of you had Castle Grayskull first off as a kid, and how many of you just really, really wanted it and never had it, and you would have definitely grabbed it if you went a shopping spree?
My brother had it, but he wouldn't let me play with it. So it wasn't like I had it. It was like I knew someone who had it, and I could look at it like when he wasn't around. But I wouldn't have grabbed this during the sweep.
Yeah, I was never a huge Master of the Universe fan, so this would have been a pass for me. I actually did have one a few years ago as an adult. I didn't purchase it; it was given to me. But I was never really into it.
By the time I was old enough to play with toys and receive all my brother's hand-me-downs, I had what you might consider the remains of a once great civilization. So I'd pick it up to get the other half that was missing.
I would have grabbed it. I didn't have it as a kid. I always wanted it, and then I go to a friend's house and see it, and I'm like, "Oh, this thing is amazing." But yeah, I would definitely grabbed it. Even though I didn't have no He-Man figures, I'd be like, "Yeah, I would have grabbed it just to have with the superpowers." I'm sorry, I'm still coming with my superpowers. Superpowers are taking over everything. Castle Grayskull, Castle Lions, they're taking over everything.
It depends on what year. I had Castle Grayskull when it first came out, so I guess it would have depended on when I won the shopping spree. So if I had the shopping spree before I got it, I definitely would have picked it up. But I had that ground zero. Old school.
Well, after doing the math and calculating all of the totals, I will tell you that the winner for this particular round is Ryan.
Yes. Sorry, Bobby.
You just open Pandora's box. I'm coming.
Get me back later.
I'm coming hard.
The actual retail price was $27.88 in the Montgomery Ward 1982 catalog, which I used for this particular reference. And in today's money, that would be equivalent to $77.77 with inflation.
And weirdly enough, the Motu Origins Castle that just came out is $74 today.
Yeah. So just to sort of put it into some perspective. Actually, Ed was very close at $27.99, but he went over.
Yep.
And Bobby actually was very, very close at $24.97, but of course Ryan did the thing where he just went 1 cent over. So well played, sir.
Blood. It's so on.
All right. Our next item up for bid is the Millennium Falcon, also released in 1982.
The Star Wars micro
The
collection.
micro collection, though, not the regular, the micro collection. So what was the price of this item in 1982 when it came out? But we'll start with Dante this time.
That's a good question. I'm going to say... Because I don't really... I'm trying to think of it as a micro collection. I'm going to start throwing it out there as maybe $17.99.
$17.99. Ed.
$7.44.
$7.44. Ryan.
$9.99.
Okay. Sal.
I'm going to say $14.99.
$14.99. And Bobby.
$18.99.
So you're going to try to so you're mad at me now for something I didn't do, but you're mad at Ryan. That's awesome. That's great.
You're all enemies.
What did I do? I didn't even bitch you.
I play to win.
I know you do play to win. That's the problem.
Well, this strategy works apparently. So,
did anyone have this toy? Did anyone want this toy? Did you? What'd you think?
No, not me. I was all about the Kenner stuff or the 3 3/4 Kenner stuff. The micro collection never appealed to me.
I would have been interested because I did go through like a Mighty Max phase, but I know how that would have played out. I would have been like, "This is cool." Got home, this sucks. Yeah, that's how it worked with Mighty Max.
Yep.
I wasn't into Star Wars until I was like 24. So, yeah. And I think I would like the guys to be bigger. I didn't really like the mini play sets as a kid.
Yeah, same. Mini play sets didn't do anything for me. Unless it was Micro Machines. Micro Machines was the only one that really did it for me. I love Micro Machines because they had little cities that you can carry in the box with you. And it was something that was nice that you can have all your cars together, but you still had a full-on play set when you unpacked your cars as well.
Yeah, the micro collection was an interesting footnote in 80s toys because it was the first time that they really took the playset and went pew, and then it kind of opened up that world. And if you really wanted like a fully realized Hoth environment for Star Wars, it was the micro collection. So that was the only appeal to me, and having the Millennium Falcon and the X-Wing and everything being smaller, it made them a little bit. Obviously, you didn't have the figures to interact with them, but it made them more easy to work with, and you know. So for that aspect,
it was easier to fly it around the house than it was the giant Kenner one. Yeah,
you could put that Millennium Falcon in your bag and go to grandma's, but like, you know, if you grab the actual Millennium Falcon, it was like moving furniture for a kid.
Yeah.
I would think scale would be a big thing, like it was for me as well. But at the same time, you know, if they cost a little bit less, and you know you have room for more of them, you could ostensibly get a larger group of toys. But the problem with these toys is that they then can't play with your other toys. So that's kind of the issue with it. But so I've tallied up the results, and Bobby, you'll be pleased to hear that you have won this round. The actual retail price was $19.99, according to the Sears 1982 catalog, which today would translate to being about $55.76, which is, to me, insane for a toy so small. What do you guys think about that price? I mean,
what you guys have in consideration, this is where I might have the unfair edge as a toy producer sort of die cast. You got to take die cast into consideration. It was a lot more expensive to do die cast than it was plastic.
Yeah,
that's true. But the Falcon is plastic.
The Falcon
isn't
itself is plastic. The figures were die cast.
The figures are die cast.
Yeah.
I probably would have guessed higher if I had seen that picture. I didn't realize it was that big. I was thinking more the Micro Machine collection from the 90s that they did of Star Wars toys. But that Millennium Falcon is a bit bigger than I originally thought.
Oh, that was close. You know, I said $17.99, but Bobby had to outbid me by $1 some change. That's cool. It's on, Bobby. Right. You open Pandora's box now. Yeah.
Okay. So our next item is, let's see. Okay, here we are. The Knight Rider 2000 voice car.
Yeah.
Released in 1983. What was the price of this lovely toy in 1984? So a year after it was initially released. Ed, we'll start with you.
$680.
$680. Okay. Ryan?
I'll say 15. No, I'll say 1795.
1795. Sal?
I will go with 1599.
1599. Bobby?
1399.
1399. And Dante?
$16.99.
$16.99. All right, talk amongst yourselves while I do my calculations.
I actually had this as a kid.
Did you?
I'm
Yeah.
so jealous.
Yeah, it was a hand-me-down from my older brother because I was born in 81, so I wouldn't have had it. But he was born in 75, so he was the prime age for this, and so it kind of got handed down to me. It was missing a door, but I still had Michael Knight, and I love that toy.
Did it still talk when you got it?
Yes, yeah, the electronics worked. Yeah.
Very cool. Would anybody have was this a sought after toy or no? I didn't know about this toy back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either.
Yeah, I wanted it. I was like, every time I saw Knight Rider on TV, I'm like, where's my Knight Rider card with my Michael Knight?
I had a Matchbox Knight kit, so that was, that was good enough for me.
It was weird. I had a Dukes of Hazzard card, which is weird. I had Bo and Luke, but I didn't have Knight Rider.
Yeah, they were very much like the G.I. Joe scale and articulation. Yeah. I think they were O-ring figures, weren't they? The Bo and Luke.
Yeah, those were Mego O-ring, yeah.
Big question is, did anybody send these boys flying off the top of the stairs? That's the big question. Because let's just see what happens.
I think the big draw for the Knight Rider was that it talked, because it was out of scale with. If it had been G.I. Joe scale, I feel like all of us would have had this one. And I definitely would have, but it was out of scale with G.I. Joes, and you couldn't really, there was really no world building with it, so you couldn't use it with a lot of other things. But still a very cool toy.
Well, so I know that we did that, or Michael, I say we. Michael did that restoration of this particular vehicle with the little record inside. And I think because of the moving parts and everything that's inside that makes this toy work, it actually is quite pricey.
Yeah.
So that means that Ryan gets a point for this round because this toy actually retailed at $28.99 according to Sears 1984 catalog, which is just over $75 in today's money.
Wow!
I mean,
that's
it is
Castle Grayskull, but
Suck it, Bobby.
Well, I failed after I said it. I said my guess. I then forgot that it had electronics, and I was like, I'm way off.
See, that's what threw me off. I was like, I should have said higher because of just the electronics as well.
Yeah.
I was going to try to help you guys, but I can't throw out hints.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, Michael's the one that picked these toys as the toys that would be on the list, and they all are somewhat tricky in various ways. And that one is just tricky because of the inner workings of the machine part of the toy. I never would have guessed that. I mean, it doesn't look like that much money, but
I'm surprised anyone wanted it. I figured it'd be on clearance.
right. Well, I don't know. It may have been.
No way I would have picked that over Castle Grayskull at any year, though.
No, I can't imagine that. I mean, unless you're just the biggest Knight Rider fan ever. All right, so for this one, we are back to Star Wars, and we are going to be talking about the Y-Wing fighter from 1983, its initial release. But we want to know what was the price in 1984. So for this round, I think we're starting with you, Ryan. What's your guess on this one?
I'll say 1995.
1995. Sal?
I'm going to go big and say 38.75.
38.75. Bobby?
24.88.
24.88. Dante?
23.99.
23.99. And Ed?
24.99.
24.99. I mean, I think this is a great toy. I don't know if any of you had it or if you would have put it on your list. What do you think?
Yeah, I had it. I love the Y-Wing.
100%.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite Rebel fighter.
Yep.
I love that. Unlike the X-Wing, you could put the droid in and take it out. It wasn't just a button like the X-Wing was.
Yeah, I think it's a better toy than the X-Wing. That may be a hot take, but it's awesome.
Well, it had the bomb. You push the button on the top, the bomb drops off the bottom. I love that.
All right. Well, this is interesting. So, the actual retail price of this particular toy in 1984 is $21.99, which again means that Ryan gets the point. Ryan is in the lead currently at 3.
Wow.
Bobby has 1. So
he's pulling away from the pack.
We have 10 total items. So there's still room. There's still room for somebody else to swoop in and take the lead. So
see this big head of mine isn't it's big because of my big brain. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right. Next up, we have the Voltron Defender, the Matchbox Voltron, the amazing die-cast, awesome Voltron. So, released in 1984. What was the price in 1985? Starting this round with Sal. How much would you guess, Sal?
Oh boy, that's a lot of die-cast, and it's an import. Oh no, Matchbox. Never mind. $55.99.
$55.99. Bobby.
$29.99.
$29.99. Dante.
$39.99.
Got a nice spread here. Ed?
$38.99.
And Ryan?
$44.95.
$44.95. Okay, this is one of the toys that I would have thought was awesome as a kid. How many of you guys had it?
No.
Yeah, still got
wow.
mine.
Wow.
How do the die cast and the paint hold up on yours?
Not great.
It took a beat.
Yeah.
It honestly, that thing is heavy. Like when you hold it, that you're holding metal. That's all you're doing is holding metal. But Matchbox does a great job with it, where you can like move it around, like move the arms and legs and connect it together. Unfortunately, I had to fix mine because mine's broke apart at the arm where the green line goes. But it's such a magnificent fit, like a magnificent toy, like all together. Like when you're talking about, if you threw that at somebody, you were going to hurt them. You were throwing it to hurt somebody's feelings.
So do I need to tell them that? Did I grab the wrong image?
Yeah, we based on this price, we grabbed the wrong image. So that the image that we have says diecast. This one is the plastic Matchbox,
the
not
plastic
the
Matchbox. So I will go through again and retake your score. Your
we'll do the scores
prices.
over again. It's
Sorry,
not the
plastic
Panoche
one.
Place.
It's the plastic one. It's the one that So
it says plastic in the description.
Come here, Michael. Double check me because you the man. So
they could have been.
Tell
wrong
them
in the
which one it
description,
is.
Too. It says super tough plastic. It's number 1.
The circle price.
Yeah, but this is 9, 10, and 11, and 8. You want 8, not 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 1 is.
You want number 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that one, which you can't see great in the picture, but that's fine. I can see what the price is. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so we're not going to retake prices, but we found the actual price instead of what we had.
Okay.
So.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm most interested to see how the what it costs today and how close that is to the Solar Chigokin.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
let me crunch that number real quick. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll find it.
Yeah, the price that we had was for the Panoche Place, which was the plastic one.
Yeah, I was taking a lot of pictures from catalogs, guys, so I kind of grabbed the wrong image, but
it's
I
understandable. No,
It happens.
okay.
If you like,
I did have a quality check. I will just say that, but
yeah, if it was the middle one, yeah, you were aiming to hurt somebody. But they did. Matchbox did a real good job with like where you can just unplug, like you can unconnect them, and they stood there like they were on a TV show. They were huge.
Yeah.
And it came with like so much weapons. Like, it came with all weapons from the show.
My question is to those of you that grew up with Voltron or knew what it was growing up. What was your reaction to seeing like Power Rangers? Was it just like, wow, that's a Voltron ripoff?
That's exactly
what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they started forming together, I'm like, oh, so it's Voltron.
Right. But Voltron had a cool like castle playset that you could have with it. Though. Like let's just Voltron still was holding the crown at that point.
Power Rangers only had that stupid Angel's Grove.
Yeah.
I like that Voltron were all lions, whereas like Power Rangers, everything was different. And I'm like, nah, I wanted more like consistency.
There were dinosaurs. I mean, they did have the dinosaur thing, but
there was a theme. But I mean, not to go all science nerd on you, only 2 of them were actually dinosaurs. There were 2 mammals and a flying reptile. So.
Nerd.
As a kid, I always preferred the vehicle Voltron.
Really, I hate that.
And I think it's because it showed up so infrequently, in the cartoon, that when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this one's awesome! It's vehicles this time."
That was one of the ones I hated.
Yeah. Vehicle Voltron lost me at the roller skates aesthetic. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, nope.
Well, remember, I was born in 81, so I'm probably a bit younger. I thought a lot of corny stuff was cool in the 80s.
See, Voltron had the greatness because when you see him go like this, he's like, it's on, like throwing that blazing sword, it's over. Whatever monster's in the way, you're done.
Okay, so I changed the slide, so I uploaded a new slide real quick. I can't change the part where there's a big red circle, guys, because I just don't have the graphic to do that or the time. But you can look at the slide that I have. So the winner of this round is Sal at $55.99 because the actual price is $66.99, which in today's money would be $167.60.
Wow!
Yeah, holy crap!
It's all that metal. So the panache, the plastic one was only $34.99. So obviously that's why a lot of kids had that instead.
Yep.
Yeah. So Sal gets a point.
I'm on the board. Means I'm coming for you, baby.
As a kid, I think the panache place one would have been more appealing just because of the addition of the figures, even though it's undersized.
Yeah.
The interactivity of that would have been more important to me.
Well, they did come out with the I think it was like years. I think it was still in the 80s or maybe like right at the beginning of the 90s. There was one where you can actually put the figures in the lions. They didn't make that one, so they did. So like the 5-inch figures the 4-inch figures, 4 or 5-inch figures that they had made, that you could actually sit inside the lines themselves, and it will still connect together to form Voltron.
Yeah, the panache plates. That's what I was talking about.
Yes, sir. Okay,
yeah. Yeah, that was the $35 one where they had the canopies and you could put them in. You had to buy the figures separate, but that one, it's undersized compared to what it's supposed to be. But
really,
yeah. Well, I mean, because the figures, Voltron's supposed to be like the size of a building, and when you put the figures in,
I mean, it would have to be really big.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm looking at him, and he's still impressive. And the nice thing about the Panache Place line is that you have some of the villains. You've got a lot more that you can actually do if you actually wanted to build out your whole, set of both heroes and villains. And I mean, they didn't make any of the big row beasts or whatever, but
that sucks.
I mean, that sucks. But you can use your Rancor monster, as Michael told us,
or the Inhumanoids.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Next up, we have the very, very popular toy Transformers Megatron, released in 1984. So we're back to Bobby. What would you expect the price of that to be in 1984? Can you read the sticker that's on the?
I was just gonna say it's got the price right there.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's the price that
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm gonna go with $24.99.
Okay. Dante.
$25.99.
Okay. $25.99. Ed.
$23.98.
Okay. Ryan.
$26.
26 even. And Sal.
Gonna go with 24 even.
24 even. Who had this toy? I mean, these toys were really expensive, it seems like to me, for the time. But
I had the chance to get it from a cousin as a hand-me-down, and I turned it down because I thought it was horrible. Like the robot mode on it was so bad. It didn't look anything like Megatron to me. And of course, I regret that now, but I didn't like it.
You didn't like where that trigger was?
cocked and loaded. LA guns.
Megatron's gonna blow you away.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't really like have that need for Megatron. I was more like wanting a Starscream, like the other characters that were more interesting than him.
I feel like
Except
everybody
for
I knew that
robots.
had Megatron just kept him as a gun. Like nobody ever had robot Megatron hanging out. It was always like, yeah, I got Megatron. Let's play guns.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is going to be an interesting round. So, because everybody went over, $22.99 was the price in the Sears 1984 catalog, which is equivalent to $59-ish today. But that means nobody gets points this round, unfortunately.
You get nothing.
That means 1 point to retroblasting.
1
Put me
point
on
to
the board.
Gryffindor.
Like Dustin's group over here. I'm like, I just got sucked into the chocolate hole.
All right. Next up, we have the whale, the killer whale, the G.I. Joe hovercraft, released in 1984, and we're looking for the price in 1984, the year it came out. Dante, what do you think?
$31.99.
Okay. Ed?
$29.99.
$29.99. Ryan?
I'll say $28.95.
$28.95. Sal?
I'm gonna have to go with $29.98.
$29.98. And Bobby?
$27.99.
$27.99.
Just taking the under.
Yeah, so I know Michael really likes this toy, but what do you guys?
Was there a cooler looking vehicle than this one, especially
the
at that
Cobra
point?
Bug. Oh, sorry. Did I slip out?
Please
This one
debate
was
the
awesome.
bug versus the whale. Go ahead.
The whale's my favorite out of the Joe vehicles, where the Cobra Bug's my favorite for them, but I absolutely adore the whale.
Yep.
I like
It's-
the little thing that shoots out. Like
The
little
recon
sled.
sled? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool that they put all those little things in. But a real pain to get the spinny things at the end all together.
Oh, yeah.
Like if
Yeah,
you're
the
trying
veins.
to find one
Yeah.
now, like a vintage one, it's
Pains, yeah.
From a reselling standpoint, this one I've sold I think 2 of these in the past 5 years that were complete, and they are just it's like handling dinosaur eggs. Like you're just they're so fragile, and trying to ship them and trying to make sure that nothing is broken on them. When you say it's complete, unbroken, they're one of the most challenging pieces out there to really find a nice, perfect copy of.
Yeah.
Oh.
I shouldn't say copy, a perfect example.
Example. Yes.
No repro.
Oh God.
did it float in the water? Could you like put it in a bathtub or
Yep,
is
it
that
floats.
It technically
Float?
floats, but it the longer it floats, it will eventually sink.
Yeah.
oh okay.
Now,
They fill
Bobby,
with water.
maybe you can answer this question. On the bottom of the whale, there's a flap and a compartment for no reason. Is it true that was supposed to be motorized at some point, and that's where that was going to go?
Yeah. So it was either supposed to be motorized or have sounds, and that was what the battery compartment would have been.
Interesting.
That would have been fun to put in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think they probably realized that, like, oh wait, kids are going to put this in the water. But then it was just always talked about as an area to just hold accessories and stuff.
And now, conveniently for collectors of today, that's the perfect place to put your broken veins. So,
For kids who did put those in the water, does that do any long-term damage to the toy, or is it just so plastic that it doesn't matter?
It'll rust the screws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got caster wheels on the bottom that could rust, or anything you take in the bathtub that you don't clean is going to get mold.
Exactly. Well, I'm thinking of my seaweeds, so those are pretty much April's face just lit up.
You can separate the skirt on the whale. You can pull it apart, but it's very delicate work to do that.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. So, Bobby, you were the closest, but you did go over. So the retail price is $24.99 in JCPenney's 1984 catalog, which today would be $64.75.
Worth every penny.
Yeah, worth every penny for sure. All right.
So nobody gets points for that?
Nobody gets a point for that one either.
Oh, man, you guys are just shooting the moon here.
You were on a roll earlier. So let's see how many we have left. We've got 1, 2, 3 left. So 3 opportunities.
It's still anybody's ball game.
It's still anybody's ball game.
Ryan is in the lead, though.
Ryan is in the lead at 3. Bobby has 1, and Sal has 1. So
I feel like Voltron has kind of disturbed our expectations. Right. I need to cleanse the palates, everybody.
That's right. That's right. If we have a tie for any reason, I will pick a random toy out of this catalog, and we will do the same thing. So we'll have a playoff. All right. So next up, we have the M.A.S.K. Switchblade, released in 1985. And we will be going for the price at that time. And who went first last time? Was it Dante?
Yes.
Okay, so Ed, what would you guess for the Switchblade?
$14.50.
$14.50. Ryan?
$15.49.
$15.49. Sal?
I'm gonna go with $16.99.
$16.99. Bobby?
$12.99.
$12.99. Dante?
Was $13.50 thrown out there?
You're not on the screen yet. You have to stay here with us.
Yeah, just like that. Crouching.
Did you tell me, Dante? I didn't hear you.
shaking.
Michael is being loud.
I'm gonna go with a Michael French price. Whatever he says his price is.
You can't phone a friend.
$13.95.
You said $15.95?
$13.95.
$13.95 for Dante.
Are you having fun?
I'm so happy you're here, dear.
I had to be here for one moment, so I use this as an excuse because Drew Dev in the comments was like, "Where is Michael?" Because I guess he saw my typing, and I'm like, "I'm at another computer. Here I am." It's a
Movie magic.
It's a lovely.
We love you over here. You can stay as long as you'd like.
Has a beautiful Kenna veneer.
It's got a nice patina to it.
Mm.
I'd say a Switchblade in this condition, if it goes to auction, would fetch roughly. I'm not going to tell you.
Well, I will tell you that I will at least go ahead and ease your mind that no one went over. So we do have a winner this round.
Nice
So,
adjustment, guys. Nice adjustment.
Nice adjustment. Just sort of bring it down a little bit. So who had this toy? What do you think of the M.A.S.K. line in general?
I love the M.A.S.K. line. I had maybe 2 vehicles. That was it. But that was a great show. I enjoyed it. The toys were awesome because it was. I think it was one of the very first toys I had besides Transformers that actually transformed.
Broke it.
Else. Oh, Matt
Break
broke it. Oh, he broke it. Oh, that's
No, he
it.
didn't. No, he didn't. I was just kidding.
I loved M.A.S.K. I had friends that had M.A.S.K, but I only had one. It was the red motorcycle. The guy had the blonde hair. His hair would stick out the top of the mask. I forget the name.
I know because I still have him. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Billy Idol.
Yeah, he did.
There you go.
Exactly what like Billy Idol, because it was like he had like the red piece, like a red chest piece, and it was all black.
Yeah.
And he just like had like angry. Yes, I know who you're talking about exactly. I forget his name, but I have him too.
It was actually Floyd Malloy.
Was it?
I am a trivial weirdo.
Oh, there it is. Chat says it was the vampire.
Yep.
Floyd Malloy.
Vampire with Floyd Malloy and his buckshot mask, which shot ball bearings out, if I remember correctly.
And then I had what was the green one? There was a green motorcycle. It was like
Condor.
Condor. Okay, so those are the only two I had.
All right, so I think some of these super chats have fallen off the stream, so I'm going to go ahead and read through them in my backlog. Ollie says, amazing work this past week, guys. It's been fantastic. True champions of the community. Dante and Ed are treasures. Where is Aaron at? Well, Aaron, I believe, is right over there somewhere, or he may be upstairs, but he is in the house today.
Yes.
So,
Aaron
come
in
on
the
over,
house.
Aaron, and show the people
Introduce
that you
yourself.
exist. You won't be able to hear anybody, but yes. Next one that I have is from Wicked Person, who says, got an 84 Sears Christmas wish book for my history class. The girls' favorite was the cardboard ring sizer insert. They all measured their fingers. Those are extremely helpful even today. That's very true.
Wow.
Let me make sure.
Is that for like rings and jewelry?
Yeah, to sort of see what size ring you should purchase.
Oh.
I thought I saw another one up here. Maybe I'm crazy.
I'm still waiting for Bobby or Ryan to put a ring on it, and it still hasn't happened.
I mean, you need to lock that down, Bobby.
If you love it,
Lock
then
it
you better
down.
put a ring on it.
What are you talking about? I'm married.
I'm waiting for my ring. I'm waiting for what other marriage you have, sir.
You're gonna be,
All right.
You're gonna be waiting a long time.
The Action Force money.
Okay, well, the winner of this particular round is, let's see, let me pull this up. The actual price is $17.99, so that means the winner is Sal.
Sal, coming from behind.
Sal
That's what I do best.
$16.99. You were the highest bid, but you still didn't go over at $16.99. So well done. Here. Now you're on screen.
Thank you, Vanna.
Thank you, Vanna.
Michael's air massaging the Switchblade. Doing a little Reiki.
That's right.
Cleanse your energy. Let's go. Like,
I'm giving you my energy.
All right, next up, as we move through the 80s, we've got Rambo, the man himself, the action figure, released in 1986. So this is going to be, we've had a lot of bigger pieces, so now we're just going to go with a standard action figure. You can walk in front of the camera, honey. It's okay.
I only have one question, sir. Do they get to win this time?
Oh, my God. I think we're at Ryan. Ryan going first in this round. So, Ryan, what would you bid for Stallone?
A lot, but in this case, I'll say $4.99.
$4.99. All right, Sal.
I'm gonna go with $5.99.
$5.99. Bobby.
$5.75.
$5.75. Dante.
$5.95.
$5.95.
As Arnold says, I don't like Stallone that much, but $5.95 seems a good price for him to be acting.
And Ed.
5 and 5 cents.
$5.05. All right. Who had the Force of Freedom line? Anybody?
I had this one.
Yeah?
Just this figure, though.
I mean, he is very nice. Very, very nice. Michael, you could go over and zoom the camera in and show off the actual figure if you'd like to.
Yeah, get to work.
I meant zoom the camera in.
So she didn't tell me that I'd be running camera and that, but I'm just gonna go do it. So here we go.
Rambo, your country needs you.
Let's do it.
That playset from that line is definitely one I would have tried to grab.
Yeah.
In a Toys R Us shopping spree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was his cartoon? Didn't he have I know he had a cartoon. Didn't it come out like the same year this figure came out, or was it later?
Yeah.
Rambo Force of Freedom. I got the jacket, bro. I got the the silky satiny 80s style jacket with the Force of Freedom on the back and Stallone's autograph like right in the center. I mean,
that thing is awesome.
It is one of my favorite things.
That was a Coleco thing, right? Was that like a trade jacket, like clothing?
It was something that wasn't released widely. I think it was from the story that the lady gave when I bought it off of eBay, which I, take it with a grain of salt. But she said that apparently Stallone had it in his collection and auctioned it off years ago and had signed it for a charity, and that she had somehow came across and had it in her collection, and she was. It's it's clearly an official thing that was made
like
for the show, but I don't think it was ever released as a thing you could buy. It's
I would wear that thing all the time.
It's pretty great.
You guys did a great 2-part video about Rambo: The Force of Freedom.
We did.
Indeed.
I think Michael's part is better. I did the first part. Michael did the second part, but it's hard to compete with Michael, so I don't try.
I want to hear more about the lady's story, because it sounded like a mystic. So mystically it came to my hands. Northern beside it.
Yeah.
Blood. I'm like, oh shoot, this jacket is more awesome than this. Is better than just story.
Stallone knocked on my door one day because he needed to use the bathroom, and he had this jacket on. But then he sold it to me, and I had him sign it.
We had a torrid love affair, and then he gave me his Force of Freedom jacket.
He was all hot and sweaty from walking around all day.
I kept all his
It's turned into a Harlequin romance.
Yes.
I feel like Stallone would be a great Harlequin romance book cover guy. He's got the sad eyes, but he's also really ripped. So
and then he holds up the machine gun like, yes.
Bobby, I'm just carrying forward our Stallone and Arnold conversation from our last panel.
I feel like I failed in that panel just because of my love of Conan the Destroyer over Conan the Barbarian. And
why? No, you were great.
No, it's like when people hear that you like something that they don't like, it's like, what? Commando's great. And Conan the Destroyer is better.
It's not easy being the plaintiff for things like that. I've learned this week. It's a lot easier to defend things that everybody likes.
No, man. Don't put yourself down, sir. It was a great debate. I enjoyed it, and I would love to do it again with you anytime in the week. Don't let anybody say anything else, sir. If I was there with you, I'll be hugging you and shaking your hand as well, too.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. I've never been so happy to lose, my friend.
No, we would do it. You know how we would do it? Predator style.
Oh.
Yes!
Dylan, you son of a thing.
Yes, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Version.
I don't want to get demonetized here.
All right. Well, the actual, let's see, who won? I have it highlighted. Oh, okay. So we have a winner, and the actual retail price of this particular toy was $6.99 in Sears 1986 catalog. So that means Sal gets another point.
Boom!
Sal.
I told you, Ryan, I'm coming for you, baby.
Yep. It's tied with Ryan. Now, we have one last item to bid on, so we could have a real situation here. If one of the other contestants wins this point, then we're going to have a playoff, and we all know what that means.
And a quarter man much greater and smarter than myself, Mikey.
Well, you guys are neck and neck, and we can't allow that.
That's right. This is PG.
I'm surprised that figure broke the $5 price point. That was to me in the 80s, $5 was what a figure cost.
Yeah.
I'm thinking because he's a slightly bigger scale and comes with all those accessories.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, he was that A-team size, that weird larger Coleco size.
Well, they also had. You got to consider they had to pay royalties too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
That always makes it more expensive.
All right. Well, our last official item up for bid is the very popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Party Wagon van, which was released in 1988. And we would like to know what the price would have been in 1989. And we will start the bidding with Sal.
Oh, boy. This is Ed's time to shine. I'm thinking, I'm feeling $29.99.
$29.99. Bobby.
$27.99.
$27.99. Dante.
Seen this toy so many times, and I could never get the price right on it. Let's go $25.99.
$25.99. Ed.
19.
19 even?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Ryan.
I will say $21.99.
$21.99. All right. Well, this van is really popular, and I know that because when we made our video and Michael criticized it, we took a whole lot of hell for it. So, who had this toy, and what do you love about it?
I had it.
Don't say anything you don't like about it, or people will attack you.
I liked it because you could use it. Like I use it for other toy lines. Like I only had I think like 1 or 2 turtles, but I would use it as like a battle wagon for other toy lines because you could fit more figures inside of it.
I obviously had it. I actually use it as like a carrying case for my turtles when I was going to like Grandpa or something like that. I'd pop all the turtles in. That'd be like the thing I carried it in. But I played so much with that van. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys that I did not have because I didn't have any as a kid. I never was really into the turtles as a kid.
Why was that?
I don't know. I think the toys, just the more cartoonish proportions, like all the lines I liked as a kid were more realistic, I guess.
Would you say they were toddlery? Because
No.
that's what Michael said, and people got really mad.
I won't say that they weren't toddlery, but I liked Star Wars and superpowers, and they were just more proportionate to a real person. I think that's what I gravitated towards.
Yeah.
I liked the Turtles quite a bit when I was a kid, but I also hadn't seen the TV show. So I didn't have that connection to be like, these don't look anything like the show. I did, however, watch the movie on repeat and was kind of devastated that they didn't look like that. But
They did. They had their little liver spots on the figures.
And some of them they did. They had the movie Turtles that were kind of that rubber material.
Yeah.
But I only had Raphael from that one.
I'm going to tell you a little secret about this, Al. So, the rubber suits that the Turtles had in the movies is the same rubber suits that they made those figures out of. Completely.
I believe it.
They were good figures. I had the Turtle Blimp, which is like, I don't know if I still have that one. But that's the only turtle vehicle, and the dragster that they had. But I think people just love them just because they're turtles, and they have so many of them, and they have, I guess you could say, interesting villains. But the turtles went above and beyond whatever they were. They would go transverse time, space. They were just like the all and the be all like heroes of all time. So.
Now, for anyone else that may have collected turtles, at least in my case, I found that because they always did like a theme. They'd be like, "Oh, the 4 turtles as whatever, like horror movie characters." I never once had all 4 of the same turtles. I'd have like 3, and I'd be missing 1. So I'd have like the Star Trek one is one that pops into my head. So I'd have like Mikey, Leo, and Raph, but Donatello would be missing. But for another set, I would have Donatello, Mikey, Raph, and Leo would be missing.
And then on the flip side of that, though, there were times where they kind of started with a theme, and then I was mad that they didn't finish it. Like Samurai Leo is one of the best figures. And then they didn't do any other samurais. And I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Well, I feel like I was never huge into Ninja Turtles. I was kind of aging out. I was almost at the point of aging out at that point, but I loved the movie, and I wanted to like them. And then when the toys came out, I was just like, they're too toddler. I'll just go ahead and say it. For me at that time, they were too toddlery. For a 5-year-old, absolutely not. But they did something. They deserve all the credit in the world for bringing, because at that time Nintendo was just destroying action figure the market. Everybody was like, "Oh, okay, wait, video games again," and action figures really took a hit, and they were just an absolute phenomenon. And they kept action figures relevant for a long time into the 90s, and even with all the costume party versions of the Turtles, they deserve all the credit in the world for that.
Yeah. I have a couple super chats I'm going to go ahead and read. Master Sun says, Michael is a gem, even if he did just crap all over Bionic 6. That's what he does, y'all. That's what he does.
But was he wrong?
No, I can't say he was. Chris says, thank you for Iconicon. Thank you for attending Iconicon.
Yes.
We couldn't do this without the support of all of you in the chat watching and cheering us on. We really need to get that reinforcement back, because doing this for days on end is challenging, but it's always nice to see that you're all here supporting us. So, all right, well, let's go and see who might be the winner. We might actually have a winner here, and not only a winner by 1 point, but if you guess the exact price of the item, you get 2 points, which I didn't say at the beginning, but hey, I can make up the rules as I go because I'm Melinda. So I made up this whole game show to begin with, so I could just do what I want. So the person we have a person who guessed the exact price of the item, and that price is $21.99. Ryan wins the game.
Wow.
Plus one, so 5 points.
Look, I knew I would win. I didn't know I would win by that much. I'm just kidding, Bobby.
Sal came in second place with 3 points, and Bobby in last place with 1 point. Actually, not last place, second runner up. So good job, everyone. These were not easy questions by any stretch of the imagination.
And Ed and Dante had a lot of fun.
Yes, yeah.
Ed and Dante just brought a lot to the panel just by being here.
Yeah.
So that means that Ryan will be our third and final contestant tomorrow in our 80s Showdown Trivia.
Oh, man.
And
So you'll be going
the
against...
full proceeds of that panel for Super Chats is going to go to a charity of the winner's choice. So think about what charity you would like to donate the Super Chats to, and we will make sure that we send all of those along. We are going to be having it's going to be set up like a Jeopardy-style game board where you have different point levels and different categories that you can choose from. And then we will have a final showdown at the end where you get to rack up a lot of extra points and maybe make up for lost time. So it's going to be a real fun show, and again, going for charity, so that's always really a nice thing to do as well. So
Absolutely.
You'll be competing against...
You'll be going against me, as well as Tim Witten.
That's right.
Who won the movie debate panel. And so...
Yeah.
Bone up on your trivia, buddy.
It's going to be amazing. Lio Convoy says, Michael was wrong about one thing in that review, but I'll tease him about it later in private. Although you just said it in public. Uh-oh.
You tell me now. You better tell me now. Do it.
Do it now.
Tell me now. Come on.
Vinkman says, let me guess Tim's reaction to the Bionic 6 video. Okay, now where's part 2?
Accurate.
I don't know. I didn't hear him say that, but now everybody's coming over here, you guys.
Let's get Tim on the mic.
Oh, God.
Next is Eternia.
It's true. Tim and I have a strategy on getting Eternia. So, Lio Convoy, if you want to message that to him, go ahead. All right. Ironhead says, I'm sorry, everyone else, but Matt must break you.
Not wrong.
Feel free to take bets on who might win.
Say, Ryan, you need to study up because Matt's going to be a challenger. Tim, I wouldn't worry about because he thinks Star Trek 4 is a good movie.
Ooh. I'll put it this way. I would not bet on me to win tomorrow. Not at all.
Lio Convoy says, all right, then Invisible Woman doesn't project holograms. She projects force fields. He's looking it up.
Michael's going to fact check you on that one.
You know what? I actually have to agree with Leo Kava on that. That is true.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Thomas is right. But
is he though?
Look,
All right, guys. Well, I know we're a little bit early, but I think that we can wrap it up just a little bit early. I don't think that's a crime. I really appreciate every single one of you for everything you've been doing for Iconicon and everything that you've done for the show. I think it was really fun. I'd love to do it again.
Absolutely. And this isn't just, we've been saying it for the past couple of days. This is a lot of work for us, but we know it's a lot of work for you guys too.
Yeah, for sure. And
so
thank
really
you
do.
so much to our moderators in the chat. You guys are like a dream helping us out and keeping everybody in check. Michael is back. Oh no.
You are technically correct. However, her powers are weird and vague. They're weird. That's why nobody bothers to memorize them. And why Fantastic Four can't ever get a foothold in the comics anymore. Because it's a weird book. Weird.
Okay.
Or movies.
I don't know.
Movies, yeah, we know. Yeah, movies, yeah. Comics, movies. Yeah.
Those movies are all terrible, though.
They are.
Talk about universally unliked.
Which?
Fantastic Four movies, all three of them.
I really like the Corman. Is it Corman?
The Corman one's fun.
It's great. It's fun. I feel like it's super underrated. I enjoy watching it.
I feel bad for everybody involved with that movie because they were trying their damn best. And they had nobody behind them. Even the producers were just like, yeah, whatever. We're just doing this for the rights. So we're not even going to feed you guys.
All right. Well, I once again, thanks to everyone for showing up, and we will catch you on our next panel, which, by the way, is going to be Bond. Well, first we have the wonderful Brilliance of Tron by Matthew Kearns, who has a short video on how awesome Tron is. That's going to be premiering in 20 minutes or so. And then on the next hour, we've got Bond in the 80s, Dalton and Moore. That's not Dalton versus Moore. That's Dalton and Moore. So we're going to be talking about both of them with love for everyone. So everyone is welcome to join us. And thank you all so much for your time and your attendance and your engagement. And we will see you on the next stream if I can find where to end the show. And bye.